what that actually means in a second. Terrorist, his advantages. He chooses the time and place. He has the element of surprise. Most important, he is in it to the end. His moral clarity, it's done. He's dying. I'm dying in the next 30 seconds. He's in it to the end. Okay? We're not used to that. We are not used to that. He's not in it to escape. It's not escape-oriented like a criminal who's going to try and go home at night and count his money that he just stole. He wants to move in, attack, and do as much damage as possible. He wants to die. That's part of that whole thing. It's way better up there than it is here. I kind of like it here. I don't know where I'm going at the end. Your advantage. You are undercover and are more effective than a uniformed operator because you have the element of surprise. If you are a counter-terrorist operator, when you leave this room, you have the element of surprise. Because if I'm a terrorist and I don't see anybody in here with uniforms on, I think I got a bunch of innocent civilians in front of me. So I'm not all up and ready to react to every single person. Let me tell you, what is the TSA? You've got air marshals, okay? We've got all these in place to protect our airlines. What's the number one deterrent against a hijacker taking over an airplane? The passengers. That is the number one deterrent. Because we have determined, we've made the decision, no effing way. No way are you taking my plane down. And they know that. They know it. They're not stupid. They read the same books and watch the same things and get on the same websites as we do. They know all of these things. And they're actively trying to get around that. Okay? Placing bombs on UPS airlines and stuff like that. That's all because there's no passengers. They're not stupid. That's one thing you have to understand about these guys. They're uneducated at times, but they are not stupid. Going to guns. Once the operator has decided he will react to the situation, he transforms into a machine. He becomes a programmed robot that does his job without emotion until it's finished. Okay? The key point in there is without emotion. I don't care. I don't care if that guy's got a family. I don't care if he's got a baby. I don't care if his wife is pregnant. I'm killing him. He is going to kill innocent civilians. He made that decision. He's the guy that's screwing his family, not me. He's going to die anyway, so I'm just going to make it happen a little quicker. Okay? Active protocols. Now, here, you as individuals, and these are some of the same ones that are used by the Tier 1 guys. Threat and use of force matrix. Okay? When you see something, and you think it's a little froggy or whatever, you got to be able to determine what it is, because you don't want to pull out a gun and start blazing away and find out the guy was trying to figure out what bus he was supposed to get on. Okay? Means does that individual have the ability to cause harm? Okay? Does he have a weapon? Does he have a bomb? Is he starting a fire? Whatever it happens to be. There's got to be a means there. There's got to be something you can do. Okay? Do you have a knife? Do you have a club? Do you have a shot? Doesn't matter. If he has the means, and you've determined that there's a situation you need to look at, you respond with necessary force. That does not mean deadly force. That just means perhaps that you're going to observe or whatever. If he has motivation and intent, Allah Akbar! Allah Akbar! That to me says motivation and intent in big screaming words. If he has the means, then I have to respond with necessary force. Maybe that is tackling the guy. Might not mean killing him. It's necessary force. Whatever it would be necessary to do to stop him. If he has gone into the active phase, where he now has a detonator or he pulled out a gun, then I need to respond with deadly force. I need to respond in kind with that violence of action and that aggression. I have to kill him. Okay? Motivation and intent with means, necessary force. If a guy just stands up and goes, Allah Akbar, Allah Akbar, and he's got a swimming suit on, then he's just religious guy. Okay? But I'm going to watch him because what else might be going on? Active threat, motivation, intent, deadly force. That means he's in action, he has the motivation. Action and means, same thing. The guy with the guns, he's in action, dead man. Active threat, motivation and intent with action, again, deadly force. Action and action, maybe I don't get to see what led up to it. I just see a guy running through the mall with a gun, dead man. Now, what are some of the things that as an operator you look at? Okay? The key as an effective intelligence operator, one of the things that you need to be able to do is you need to see what is out of place. Okay? What's wrong about this picture? All right? And sometimes they're very subtle. They're tough to see. But if you start to train yourself, when we talk about pattern recognition and things like that, when you're really into clandestine operations and those types of environments, you form what is called pattern recognition. Okay, you frame things, you observe, and when something seems out of place, it sticks out because you've been actively observing what's going on. Now, that's not exactly what we're talking about here, but I'm trying to illustrate a point. When something's out of place, and remember when I said, if there's any doubt, there's no doubt? That's kind of what we're talking about right now. So, you see a guy dressed in an overcoat here at the Atlanta Blade Show, where it's 90-some plus degrees, that's a little suspicious to me, okay? And that's one of the first clues that you want to look for, is their dress. Why do they have a big, bulky thing? Okay? And if you're dealing with guys strapped up with bombs, you'll understand why that's important. But if that's all I see is that he's dressed weird, I can't shoot him. Just want to watch him, see what happens, see where he's going, what's going on, what is he, if he escalates or de-escalates. Okay? If he has behavioral patterns that are out of place. And when I talk about the dress, the guy might be carrying a briefcase, or he might have a heavy bag, who knows what the hell it is. And you talk about behavior, now if he starts acting suspicious, and he is dressed suspiciously, then I need to talk to him. I need to find out, hey, what are you doing? Okay? What are you doing over there? What are you doing by that trash can? I don't give a shit what he thinks about me. You can't think about that. We're real polite people. We don't want to impede on other people. But by God, today, with the threat that we face, I got to be a little rude. What the hell are you doing over there? There's nothing wrong with that. If he's innocent, then he's okay. If he's a bad guy, then boom, I've gigged on something. All right? If he is actively doing something, again, he's placing a suitcase underneath the car. Okay? He's dressed weird, and he's acting weird. Deadly force. I know something's up. Now, if you ever see anybody who doesn't respond to questions, what are you doing? And they're in a trance-like state. I'll tell you what. That guy's on his way to Allah. That's why he's doing that. And again, you talk about how people can get worked up. This guy is in a worked up state. This is a bomber. You can see it in their eyes, honest. They are in a trance-like. If you see anyone in a trance-like state that has any of these other characteristics about them, that's a bad guy about to do something. All right? You need to engage that in one way or the other. Because that's what they're going to heaven, and they're in a highly agitated state. At times they're not even hearing what's going on. Can you imagine what it feels like when you're strapped up with a bomb, you're walking into the middle of a shopping center in Israel? What's going on in their mind as they walk in? They're not hearing anything. It's the same thing with auditory exclusion and all those tunnel vision and all that you experience when someone's shooting at you. It's the same exact thing. They're going through that. You can be standing right in front of them talking to them. They got a blank look on their face. Okay? You've got to be, a counter-terrorist learns to be able to pick up on those clues. Counter-terrorist training skills. I'm just going to go through this real quickly because a lot of guys want to know what goes into the matrix and making a counter-terrorist operator. learn foreign languages. I'm not talking about you people in here, although it's good. It's always nice when you might say Ruski. Yeah, when you might say English. It's nice to have a few familiarities with foreign languages. But as an operator, you'll learn languages that are appropriate for the regions where you're going to be placed. Okay? Weapons proficiency. When you go to advanced training, you will learn how to use all the different weapons from all over the world. Whether it's a CZ, AKs, rockets, whatever the hell it happens to be, it's not just American guns, it's any kind of gun that you can get your hands on. And a lot of times, if you're in advanced training, you learn how to clear all of them, do all the repair and everything on those. It's pretty extensive. CIA cooking school. You will be sent to find out how to make improvised weapons, bombs, fires, etc. And this is something that we're and again, this is something I want you to be aware of, because one of the things that is probably the greatest weapon they haven't, quote-unquote, discovered yet, is fire. Okay? You start lighting fires all over hell, it drains the emergency system and gives you an opportunity to carry out a terrorist act because everybody's preoccupied with fires. So one of the top skills to be able to learn how to do is learn how to set strategic fires as an operator. Improvised weapons. You learn how to make do with what you have. Okay? Again, part and parcel with some of the CIA training. Locksmithing, lockpicking. You learn how to defeat locks. There's special schools where you go. You learn how to get into things. You learn how to get out of things. Okay? Effective operations without means. Very important aspect. What you look for, what we want, is we want a person who could be placed in the middle of a desert island in his underwear, come up with a way to build a shelter, live, survive, and gather intelligence on the enemy. All right? And I use that as just an analogy. What I'm talking about is you need to be able to get by with nothing. That's the most valuable operator that we can have. Is a guy who is totally able to exist in an environment without support for ongoing periods of time. Resisting interrogation. Everybody gets waterboarded. Okay? Extremely unpleasant. Ain't gonna kill you. They're all waterboarded. Every one of the Special Forces guys, all the Navy teams, all the CIA guys, everybody gets waterboarded. Okay? And there are other things that they learn how to do, which is how to defeat lie detectors and all that good stuff. We don't go into any of that. Emergency medical procedures. You are basically brought up to the level of an EMT.